Hey everyone, today we're going to dive into quick troubleshooting for your 12-volt RV refrigerator, the kind you'll find at many newer travel trailers and RVs. Let's get your fridge chilling again fast. Bringing this up, I've got a buddy who recently has been struggling to get his 12-volt fridge working again, and too late, but sharing some troubleshooting steps with them that inevitably, after a lot of heartache and grief, the technicians at the RV place finally figured it out and got it right. So hopefully this will help you check off some boxes before you determine whether or not you have to go to a next level support, or you can fix it yourself. Okay. So my most fundamental troubleshooting steps go like this. The first thing I want to check, if I'm not plugged into any kind of a shore power, is my batteries. So I'm going to go on there with a multimeter. I'm going to check those batteries, and fully charged batteries are 12.6 volts. At a certain point, under 11 volts, you're not going to have enough power, or the power is going to decrease. That's going to start making your fridge more inefficient to the point where it doesn't work anymore. So first thing, check your voltage. Either you've been out too long and it's gotten so low that it actually can't keep your fridge cold, and your fridge is going to start losing its cool, literally, or your batteries are problematic and need to be replaced if they're not holding a charge. Okay, if you plug your shore power in and your fridge miraculously works, that's a really good indicator in this scenario that your batteries need replacing. The next thing I'm going to check are fuses, and I might check those first, but I put them second for a reason. I'll explain. You've got your little fuse panel, and typical RV rig with a 12-volt fridge is going to have kind of like two breaker panels. One looks a little more like what's in your house with the flicky breakers, and the other one's with more like your car, which are little blades. So you find the one that says fridge or refrigerator or whatever term they got for it. You're going to pull it out, make sure that's not blown. That's a nice simple fix. Put that back in. It's not that, right? Then you're ruling things out really quick. Unfortunately, and I can't list off the brands because I don't know them off the top of my head, but a lot of these 12-volt fridges have a fuse in the back that you can't access unless you pull the fridge out. Very inconvenient. Had this problem. Pulled my fridge out. I looked, there's a blown fuse. I plug it in. And when I was there, I also noticed I had loose connections. So all the wires in the back came up to this bus bar with screws on it. And every single one of those wires and screws were loose. I could wiggle them. So I tightened those up. Now, it's easy to blame the manufacturer for that, but the reality is, unlike your conventional house fridge, you're not taking it for a drive down the road, bouncing down freaking gravel and potholes and, slamming your brakes on and jerking the thing around. So inevitably, things in the trailer are going to loosen up. So if you have a problem, it's very likely a loose connection. So it's an easy fix. The hardest part about that is emptying your fridge, finding a friend, lifting that big bastard out. Well, figuring out how to get that big bastard out, because there's usually some kind of a lock mechanism or a screw holding it from flying out while you're going down the road. Getting it out with your friend, and then that part's easy. It's pretty obvious. A lot of times just a plate over the top, a couple screws, take it off. You can see exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see a fuse, or you'll see the connections. Wiggle them. Oh my God, it's loose. Tighten them up. Put the panel back on. You and your friend lift it back up. Don't be a hero. Can you lift it by yourself? Probably. Should you lift it by yourself? No. And I'll tell you why. I did, and I dragged it in a few spots and actually did some cosmetic damage around that frame that my fridge fits in. So it's not nearly as pretty as it was. It's still pretty, just not as pretty. And because I did it, I see it every day that I'm in that trailer. Get a friend. The next easy fix, and I should say, don't do these in any particular order. Do them in the order of ease. I really didn't pre-plan this video too much, but the reality is this is easier to check than the back of your fridge. But your fridge, the fridge component of your fridge, is getting its coolness from the freezer. So there is a vent, typically at the back, I'm not sure of any others that aren't at the back, that goes from your freezer to the refrigerator. So if your freezer's cold, it cools your fridge. There's no real cooling in your fridge. It's coming from the freezer. So if you've got it jam-packed and something's blocking the freezer vent, and you find, wow, my freezer's frozen, but my fridge isn't doing a great job, you're blocking the damn vent. Repack your fridge, right? So that the vent's not blocked. Or you could have, lost cooling, it melted, and then, you plugged it back in and froze, and you got an ice dam back there. It's a simple fix. Simple check. Okay, so don't block the vent between your freezer and your fridge. You're going to go to an RV dealer. I don't know that they're malicious, but they take the path of least resistance. Most of the time that I've heard or read from different people complaining about things, the first thing they want to do is tell you it's a battery. Now, if I put my malicious glasses on, where I'm really scrutinizing people, it goes like this. They know it is most likely a loose connection. And the shop time to pull that fridge out, fix the connections, put it back in, is pure shop time and very quick and not a lot of revenue. Now, if I sell you a new battery, I do diagnostics to see where the problem is. And then I sell you a new battery and tell you the battery was the problem and it fixed it, you're going to go home with a working fridge, because during the diagnostics, they tighten the connections. Now, they could also say, hey, we just tighten everything up, make sure everything's good, but we didn't notice anything wrong. But that tightening could have solved the problem too. So if you go through my troubleshooting steps, you will save yourself a lot of grief and know that it's not a loose connection. It's not a fuse in the back. It's not something simple. And then, if I go through my checklist, I am now going to an RV technician. It's like, I've tested the battery. If I really want to be sure about that battery, I can take it. I have a place called Battery Boy. You've got a Battery Boy of some name around your neighborhood, or a mechanic with a battery load tester. They put it on it, they put a load on it, and they tell you whether your battery actually has full load capacity or not, or whether it needs to be replaced. Done. Easy, right? You can rule a lot of things out really quick. But the biggest indicator of a battery is if the fridge doesn't work on 12 volt, but it does when you're plugged in. Freezer cold, fridge not, vent blocked. You will need to tighten the connections on the back of your fridge at some point. If you had that travel trailer and used it, driving it places, not just set it and forget it, at some point, you're going to have to do it. Literally, if you can use a screwdriver and you can find a friend, so don't be an a-hole to everybody, make sure you keep one friend that'll come and help you lift that fridge out. You will need to tighten it. It's a fact. Easy breezy. Like, subscribe, and follow for more tips and tricks. Hopefully this saves somebody some time and money. And Jay, I'm sorry I didn't get to help you first, buddy. A little bonus tip for you on your fridge. So if you're plugged in somewhere and you got to go grocery shopping at some point, obviously you go on a trip, you buy your groceries, jam them in your fridge, get them in there as fast as possible while they're still cold. You don't want the fridge having to cool off all the stuff you just put in. So if you can, have the stuff that's going in your freezer already frozen, have the stuff that's going in your fridge already cool, especially if you're running off your batteries. The amount of energy to cool that stuff off will deplete your batteries fast. So make a point of keeping things cool. We tend to load our fridge up the night before while we're running on my shore power is plugged in at home, and that helps. Obviously, taxing your batteries. So try to avoid putting things that aren't the temperature of the fridge or the freezer where you're putting them, to eliminate extra strain on your fridge unless you're on real power. Bonus tip.